What is up, guys, and welcome to the VisualWood podcast. And I'm here today with Wood and Potatoes, the beautiful, the elegant.
Or as you've now managed to get my subscriber base to believe, Joey is my new name now.
Did people start commenting? So some people on your channel don't watch VisualWood, so when I put Joey, some people are like, Joey? What's Joey?
I've had people asking me, just every now and then all over the place, oh, is your name Joey? Apparently I've got a wiki page as well on the Guild Wars 2 wiki, which I've never made. I've never been so pretentious.
You have a wiki page?
I've never been so pretentious as to believe I should make a wiki page. It's probably been deleted by now, but someone did link to me a wiki page that someone had made randomly on my behalf on the Guild Wars 2 wiki that was Wood and Potatoes, and then it was like, this person makes content about the game Guild Wars 2, including, lore stuff, blah, 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 blah. But also, it had on there that my real name was, what was it? It wasn't Joey, it was Joe something else.
Joel,
yeah. Are you on it at the moment?
Yeah, I found it.
What? Why is this here?
Wood and Potatoes is an expert in both Guild Wars 1 and 2 lore, well known in the community for his daily talk shows and his lore summary series.
And I'm not an expert. That annoys me too, because people like to catch me out when I say stuff wrong, because it's like, oh, he thinks he's such an expert, he got this tiny thing wrong. It's like, I've never said I'm an expert. I just happen to know stuff about the lore and I talk about it. That's it. But yeah, it was crazy, man. So yeah. And then you left a comment on one of my recent ones as well, where you were like, "Oh, Joey, you've got art talent or something."
Yeah.
Dude, that thing got 95 thumbs up, and everyone's just been calling me Joe.
Oh my gosh, I love how people are just so into finding out who you are and stuff.
It's why I do it. It's brilliant. It's amazing.
That's exactly why. That's crazy. I'm looking. Matt Visual Wiki. There's no wiki page for me. I'm just.
Oh, dude, I will make you one.
No. I'll make me one. I don't care. It's fine. Reddit doesn't like me either, and they love you.
Ooh,
they just.
You've got to stop saying that, man.
Dude.
You've got to stop saying that.
It's so true, dude.
They don't like you because you don't like because you're like, oh, you don't like me, and they're like, well, fine, I don't like you at all. Then it's like kids at school.
I never said I didn't like them. You actually got me back into Reddit. And
good.
I look on Reddit pretty much every day.
But the thing is, it's not just for Guild Wars 2 stuff, right? I mean, that's all you really look at the site for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, if you get an account on that website, you can just let yourself be absorbed. I've got two accounts. I've got the Wood and Potatoes account, and I've got a totally different one, which has got me commenting and upvoting in all sorts of not safe for work subreddits and just ridiculous stuff that I spend most of my time, if I'm not working on videos or playing Guild Wars 2, probably on Reddit. This is how I spend my time. There's so much.
My
and
gosh.
You can custom it. You can tailor it to exactly what your needs are. I'm on a subreddit called Things for Ants. I've told you about this, I'm sure I have.
Yeah.
Have I even told you on a VisualWood?
No.
Did I tell you? Okay, no. Well, I'm on a subreddit called this is for everyone else's sake then. I'm on a subreddit called Things for Ants, which is based entirely on that joke in Zoolander where he says, "What is this? A center for ants?" And all they do is post tiny, tiny little versions of normal sized things and say, "What is this? A biscuit for ants, or a cheese platter for ants, or an ant for ants," and just it's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
It's great.
That's crazy. I have to dive in because I've only been on the Guild Wars 2 Reddit, and that's pretty much it.
For gaming as well, there's quite, the default gaming one, our gaming isn't actually that good. Well, it's alright, but it defaults me to that for some reason, and I'm browsing through and I'm like, why is this all rubbish memes and game stuff for ages? And then I realise I'm not on my front page, I'm just there. But there's a lot of good ones for games as well. I'm subbed to so many different things. In particular, the Oculus Rift subreddit is really good for keeping up with news and demos and stuff that come out in there. It's just good. It's good if you want to see funny pictures to look at, or you want genuine discussion or news, whatever. It's great, man.
All right.
Okay, so the Reddit section of the podcast is over. Thanks. That's going to get us a bit of money for plugging them there.
Yeah, right. Oh, well, because it's done by you, it's okay. right, let me explain myself.
I'll cut you in, dude.
It's a joke.
I'll cut you in.
It's a joke that I have about Reddit not liking me. All right, let me explain that out before people take it a totally different wrong way. Like, what happens is that I was messing with Wooden Potatoes because Wooden Potatoes videos never get downvoted. Like everyone loves Wooden Potatoes because he's British. I mean, come on, let's be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves, right? All right. And of course, he reads. He has good content. But like with me, like people look at me a lot. You know, they look at me differently. I don't know if it's because I'm black. I don't know. I'm putting a racist.
Well, as soon as you said that, as soon as you were like, they look at me different. I'm like, could be very racist here. Very racist.
But yeah, I don't get as much love as Wooden Potatoes. But you know, I'm just hating, and I'm just joking. Anyways,
he's player hating.
There's a lot of workers at your house as well.
Yeah, I've said this on multiple videos on my channel, but like, yeah, it's been kind of difficult for us to record this and some other stuff that we've been putting out. A game we've been playing, Raven, because there's just an awful lot of noise and irritating stuff. So I like reversed my sleep schedule to try and produce stuff, but then it didn't mesh with you. It's fine. It's whatever. It's the weekend, so we can record for today. So yeah,
it's all good. All right. So also, what happened this weekend? We're recording this on Sunday, by the way. Hopefully, this comes out today. When you know. If
don't
YouTube,
say that because now you've bound yourself to it.
Yeah. Well, YouTube always it's always messing up. Anyways,
everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, why did it came out on Thursday? What the hell?"
No, it's not gonna come out Thursday. I have to always get it out before that patch. I'm thinking about switching the schedule because we're right there next to the new patch, and we might not talk about it, get to talk about it, but I like being, having time and let the community kind of speculate on stuff, and
so you can steal their ideas and just
yeah, exactly, for my own, right?
That's exactly how I work too.
Jesus. Pink Day in LA. I'm gonna leave a link down in the description. Hopefully, I remember this. If you want to donate to that, it's for cancer. I actually streamed for them. I guess stream for them is used loosely. I saw that they were doing something. I asked them, I was like, hey, can I stream for you and promote you in some way or whatever? And they're like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Everyone's streaming. So I did that. I don't have, cancer hasn't affected my life. I don't know if it's affected your life, Wooden Potatoes, but, I have my own share of crap that I have to deal with, a disease that I have. So, I guess I can relate in some little way. Mine doesn't cause death, so I'm good. What about you?
I think pretty much everyone's been. Well, you've really never been affected by cancer, no one that you've ever known.
No, not that I've known. I have distant family that has been affected by cancer, but nothing in my lifetime.
That's pretty crazy. 3 out of my 4 grandparents have all suffered from it. 2 of them died from it. Just so many people. My aunt's currently got cancer. It's ridiculous. It's sort of the modern day thing that I feel like is most responsible for just killing people. Pink Day in LA though is of old age, I guess. Pink Day in LA is particularly to do with breast cancer awareness, I think.
I think I was trying to look it up, and
that's why it's Pink Day, because I don't know, that's the color or something. It's actually a really long running event that I in the capacity of me as a YouTuber, I've never really looked at it, but in the past, particularly during Guild Wars 1, I always used to jump in and sort of join in. And back then they used to host different districts. I've got no idea how it works anymore, but the idea is it's a big community run event. We're talking about it now. It's already over, sadly. Then everyone sort of jumps in. Oh, there was another event going on that someone wanted me to plug in at a certain point, but I've forgotten about that too. But Pink Day, it's pretty cool. You go in, everybody dresses up in pink, you dye all your armor in pink, and do community run events. It used to be back in the day, people would throw out quizzes in map chat, and then the first people to answer would get prizes, and there'd be a competition to see who had the best pink outfit and all kinds of stuff. There used to be a lot more community run events, I feel like. Pink Day in LA is sort of the last big one that's left. There used to be another one that was hosted in an old Ascon area too, but I don't know whether that survived to Guild Wars 2. But yeah, and I missed it completely this year, so if you say it was good, then I'll have to take your word for it.
A few servers, got involved. The server I just transferred to, TC, Turnish Coast, or Carnish Toast. I like the toast.
Toast.
Carnish, yeah, it's this guild. They switched around the letters. It's pretty funny, for the toast and all that. It's this whole thing about it. But anyways, they hanged out in Lion's Arch by the ArenaNet logo thing.
Oh yeah,
with
the mini
two minis
battle area. Yeah.
Yeah, which, man, it would be awesome to have mini pet battles. Like, I know
Did we
it's
talk
been
about
said
that before?
before. Yeah, like I just thinking about it, it would be pretty awesome to see that and just have like Pokemon music in the background. But yeah, Pink Day in LA was good. It was successful. Hopefully I helped. You know, they had like 200, 300 people watching me. So hopefully those guys donated. People come in and out, so it's probably like a few people were watching me. So hopefully you guys donated and helped cancer in, I think it was Canada, like research in Canada.
Let's clarify, helped beat cancer, helped cancer claim more lives.
Wow, this got really dark.
The VisualWood podcast is not in favor of cancer. Also, do you mention that mini pet thing because, like, how's Pokemon been going for you?
Oh,
because I was expecting like we haven't spoken for a while. Is this partly because Pokemon has overtaken your life?
Yeah, a little bit. I just beat the Elite Four. I got really busy during the week with everything, but like, I just beat the Elite Four and it feels amazing. The whole 3D thing. Yeah, because the thing is, it's really the nostalgia that really captures you, right? Because really, let's be honest, the story for Pokemon, for at least this one, I thought Black and White was a decent story. It might have been bare bones, but it was decent. Like this one was kind of garbage. I mean, there had some good moments, but it was really garbage. But
can you sum it up?
I don't want to spoil it for people.
Well, yeah, you don't have to spoil it, but like, is there another evil group?
Yeah. It's of course, there's always some type of evil group, which is fine. I just wish there was more with it, you know? Like I don't want to hear another Team Rocket, all right? Another Team Rocket variant in there. I want something else.
What's the team variant?
Team Flare.
Team Flare. Well, see, I loved Ruby and Sapphire because in that there were two different teams and it changed depending on the version you were playing, which was most prominent, which was awesome. Is it just the one again here, though?
I have no idea. I think Team Flare might be for both, but yeah, I don't know. But
see, that seems weird as well because it doesn't seem to match with the X and Y thing. And did you see that thing about Zed too? Like the Zed Pokemon.
The Zed Pokemon, no.
Yeah, because like you know how they do like a version mascot like for a third version kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be like a Zed because it's all based. This one's all based on well, at least the legendaries are on Viking myths and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a third one that fits like quite nicely in that would be like the XY and then
like the green to the yellow. I mean not yellow. Actually. There's yellow and then there's green that was like kind of off to the side. That's weird. But yellow did come in the U.S. I don't think green came to the U.S. But there was red and blue.
You're talking about the original Pokemon.
Yeah, they had that like off-brand thing. You know, not off-brand, but like that third
third
Pokemon.
It goes yellow, and in Japan it was blue, and then they had yellow as well. But then you had for Gen 2 it was gold, and then it was emerald for Gen 3, platinum for Gen 4.
Yeah.
There wasn't one for Black and White because Black and White they just did straight up sequels. So
they could have just had gray. Like
they could have had a gray. I think that would have been interesting. But the nice thing about this current gen is obviously it's Pokemon's transition into 3D gameplay, like in a big way. And the idea behind it's Pokemon X version, Y version, and then you've got a Z version that would be the Z axis, the third dimension kind of thing. So it ties in quite nicely all together with the idea of what those games like had broken through doing.
But just to wrap up Pokemon, because I know a lot of people don't really care. How
dare they? Everyone has to care. It's Pokemon.
The thing is with Pokemon is that it's the first redesign. Like I don't care if the story is garbage. Like I just want to play Pokemon and all this. They're kind of streamlining all of it with the Pokemon Bank. You can have all the Pokemon you want in the bank and then transfer it to your Pokemon X and Y. Everything in 3D. Like you can have a whole big thing of Pokemon. You can trade with anyone. Like the friend system is good. Everything is pretty much really good.
I heard that if you have friends, I'm going to jump in, right? If you have friends, then their Pokemon visit you on like the bottom screen if you're online together. Is that true?
No, you see their faces and you can like give each other like power and stuff like that. Like you give them extra attack for their Pokemon. You can give there's like a global chat and you can see like everyone's chat like down below.
That sounds really MMO-y. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can easily talk. You can easily trade people. like your friends, like, oh, you want to trade randomly. You don't have to be at a Pokemon Center, nothing. Like it's so easy to do stuff. It's really good. It's really good. And they have this friend Safari thing that's like that's after Endgame, like, which I'm trying to figure out now. But anyways, the new patch.
Wait. Okay, the main thing I've not played it yet. I really want to play it. This is Pokemon related. As you play through it, right? They've obviously made all of the Pokemon fully 3D now.
Mm-hmm.
That really excites me. But did you sort of, after the first couple of hours of playing it, just get used to the new style? Like, or as you played the whole way through the game, were you still being wowed by new Pokemon? You're like, oh my god, that's what a Mamoswine looks like now.
Right,
oh, that's amazing. Was it like that or what?
Yeah, it was like that because
the whole way
we've lived our life on 2D Pokemon, like 2D sprites. All right,
yeah.
And for tackle, they just move their body up and down. Like, who cares about that crap, right? But now this one, you don't have to see the back of their head anymore. It kind of turns like Pokemon Coliseum and stuff. So the camera turns and you can see all of the Pokemon. You can see the vision. Like some Pokemon that you thought was ugly actually look good now. Some Pokemon that you thought actually, look good, they look ugly now, and you actually see like what they're holding and what they're wearing.
Really fat.
It's like all this stuff. And Lickitung, he has a huge tongue, you know what I'm saying? So he's probably getting the ladies. But yeah, like
wow.
Whoa, we just went radar with that. Anyways, but yeah, like Lickitung's tongue is just huge. It's like you don't really see that with the 2D sprites, and they have character. And the only thing that's kind of sad about the new redesign is that Pikachu was the only one to actually get the noise, like the sound effect from the show. So you go to Pika Pika, like Pikachu from the show. But everyone else, like if you see Jigglypuff, it still makes that stupid noise.
Well,
like,
that's
like,
the,
what
that's
is
the
that?
accepted canon, though. That's the way they're meant to sound. They're not meant to say their name. That's just the anime's way of doing it. Like Pokemon Origins, they didn't say their own names and stuff. Like Pokemon Origins was true to the game's canon, which is that they make these horrible. There's this hilarious video on YouTube as well, by the way, where this guy's like, he refers to all Pokemon by he suggests their names are their cries in the games. So like like a Nidoking is like a Nidoking is like or something weird like that. And he like does this whole video where he's talking about his favorite Pokemon and stuff, and it's just hilarious because every time he's gonna say one of their names, he just makes I really like. That's my favorite Pokemon, and like a picture of a Tangler comes on screen or something. It's brilliant.
My gosh.
It's so good, dude.
All right, Halloween patch.
Wait! I want to say more about
No. Halloween patch. Okay, so how you been enjoying the Halloween patch so far? Let's give a rundown real quick before we get into it. All right, so the Bloody Prince is here, right? Everyone who's listening to this has played the Halloween patch. Bloody Prince is here, right? So it's Oswald Thorne's son. And so you see him, and he's within the story. I actually didn't finish the story. I actually totally forgot about the story. I need to go back and finish it. So you have the doors from last year coming up, and that's how you get to the Mad King's Labyrinth. There's a Mad King's Labyrinth where the Bloody Prince and Oswald Thorne is kind of bickering with each other and talking with each other. But it's the same type of thing. It's kind of like the Queen's Pavilion without events, pretty much. You just keep closing doors. The Mad King's ClockTower came back. No more Norn butts. Now you just have little white balls running around, like little wisp white balls, and it's a PvP activity now, so there's only like 5 people, so you can't play with your friends and stuff like that. Then we have the Lunatic Inquisition, that is kind of like Southland Survival, but zombies in Halo, something like that. You kill every time you're a ghost, you kill a villager, the villager becomes a ghost, so stuff like that. And
let me ask you straight away, like that's pretty much it, isn't it? But what do you think of the Inquisition?
I at first I was just like, what's going on? Like you're just running around for like 2 hours, like waiting for something to happen. I guess people didn't really understand what was going on, or the ghost that was a ghost sucked really bad. But like I think it should be a little bit of a smaller map. right?
Or more players to fill that map up.
Or a little bit more players, yeah. And the problem that you were saying that was last year, that people would just join and all of a sudden they're a villager. That happened to me. I was gonna say last place. I was in first place twice, and then some random villager came up and he didn't die, and I did. You know, like random people would join. They're like, "What is that? What is that?" Like if people, it should wait till the round is over. If people want to leave and rage quit and be little wussies, let them leave, and then you automatically win and then go into the next match. Like don't do this join in progress crap. That kind of sucks.
See, I haven't played that at all this year, so it's interesting for me to hear that it's basically the same as it was last year. But it's a fun game type, right? Wouldn't you agree?
It's great.
Like, if it didn't have
I like
that
it a lot
issue,
actually. Yeah.
Then it would have been very, very fun. And it's funny to me as well that, ArenaNet had to make a decision. They were like, right, we're cutting one of these mini games out because there were 2 last year. There's only 1 this year. We have to cut one of them out, guys. Which one do we go for? And they decided to keep the one that is just completely balked by their hot join mini games. If they'd chosen to keep the other one, then I think they might have done better, because the other one wasn't quite so ruined by hot join. Like, it was sort of ruined by hot join, but it wasn't that bad, It was only as bad as, like, what was that other minigame that was with the Zephyr Sanctum that we haven't seen come back? Do you remember? There were 2 minigames. There was Sanctum Sprint, and then there was another one.
Southern Survival and the PvP one.
Yeah, well, it was sort of halfway through. It was introduced. It was like a PvP one.
Yeah, the one with you use the sun and the electricity one. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so, it's interesting to me that they went with one that wasn't more that kind of format for Halloween, and instead they went with a labyrinth that's just sort of completely undermined. Were there a lot of people playing it?
Yeah, I guess so. People left constantly because people don't really have patience for this type of stuff, really, and they don't really tell you what's going on. It's not like how South Sun Survival was, where they like tell you exactly what's going on and you start in the middle. Like, everyone who's played Minecraft Hunger Games, which is a lot of people, they know exactly what the Hunger Games is. It's Hunger Games is one of those things. It's like Twilight, like of the Hunger Games,
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe Twilight might be a little bit more popular, but people kind of got what was going on in South Sun Survival. But with this one, really, you're just pushed in and you just don't know what to do. If someone didn't read up on the website and didn't know anything about it, really, you would have been lost. And that's what a lot of people were. They were just lost. They didn't know what to do. But I think after people got informed, there was more people playing, and it's like, oh, okay, this is actually pretty cool. It's pretty fun. You see all the villagers ganging up on the ghosts and stuff like that. I thought it was really, really good idea. I just think the maps are really big, really huge, and I don't know, like, there should be some better ways for a villager to get away from a ghost as well. But overall, it's a pretty good map. For a minigame.
Yeah, and I saw a video talking about the big map. Did you know there's like an Easter egg in there as well?
No.
There's like a hidden thing in that map where if you're a villager, you go to the center and like you run around with a torch and you can light loads of little torches all around the labyrinth. And if you light every single one of them, like a message comes up that says Eureka and gives you a load of points. It's just like a little thing that they threw in there that I thought was really cool. Like, there's a little Easter egg that's out there. So it's got depth to it. It's just like you say, like, it's hard to see how to learn all of it when you first go in.
Right. So, everyone knows what the rewards are. You get a candy corn node instance. There's a mini candy corn elemental. You can use candy to get weapon skins, mini blade prints, the 20 slot pail. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. If you do the Man King Says, which hasn't come out yet, which I'm assuming there's a little bit more to this patch, you get the Mask of the Night, which I don't really care about it. But yeah, what do you think about the tooltips? Because you said the tooltips was just like, whatever, I don't really care. It's quality of life type of crap. Okay, what do you think about it now?
I'll step back from my original opinion. I think they're awesome. I think it's really cool to just be able to, like, in practice, I still sort of stand by what I said. In practice, like, I would have tried this stuff out anyway, and it doesn't matter to me that much, but it is very cool to be able to see all that stuff, and especially like some of the unique stuff they did where you can keep right-clicking the trait to cycle through it on one of the Elementalist traits. It's cool. It is pretty cool. I think there's a little bit more they could do with it, but man, that's a nice quality of life thing, definitely. Definitely.
All right. So what do you think about the balance updates? I didn't really get much from my Guardian, but I saw the Elementalists have this long list of crap that was changed in the balance update.
Okay, so you asked earlier how much Halloween, how much have I been playing the patch?
Yeah.
The answer is pretty much very, very, very little. Me too. Like, I can't judge you for not having played the story stuff because I haven't even done the second story instance yet. I've got like 3 of the achievements for the meta so far. I haven't bothered going around with the doors. The only one I've got really is all the trick or treat bags, killing one of the bosses in the labyrinth, and then like one other thing for like completing the intro to it. Everything else I've not done with the Halloween, and the reason for that is everything I've been doing in Guild Wars 2, I've been PvPing the entire time. I've got hooked again big time on PvP, and it's just because of the balance patch. That said, a lot of those changes for Elementalists, they were okay. There's a couple of little quality of life things for the staff that make it vaguely more interesting, but for PvP, staff is still a terrible weapon that I don't think people should run. I still don't favour it that much in other formats either, but especially PvP, I wouldn't be running the staff. The main thing that I've just started running is my old glassy Ellie and just trying out different conjure weapons, like I'll look at the enemy comp, and if they've got like a thief, then I know I can't afford to do it. I need a different utility. I need arcane shield or something. But where I'm solo queuing, if I see that the situation calls for it, then I'll try out a different conjure weapon. In particular, the ice bow is really nice now. There was this old idea for Elementalists back in Guild Wars 1's time where they were really good for laying down heavy AoE fields. Like, the original Elementalists had, like, Firestorm and Meteor Shower and Breath of Fire, was it, I think? They had a lot of fields that would go down and do lots of heavy AoE. And for not the entirety of the game's lifespan, but for the majority of Guild Wars 1's life, Ellies were really strong in that role, and that kind of damage was really dangerous. And there was this whole thing to the gameplay where if you saw a Firestorm, you'd actively move out. But Meteor Shower in Guild Wars 2 is terrible. Glyph of Storms is terrible, except for one mode on it. But that one mode is the Earth mode, and that's only really nice because it guarantees hits, but also because it applies blind to people. Like, so that element of the gameplay hasn't really been there. But with the changes to the Ice Bow, that's back now. The Ice Bow skill 4 lays down one of these fields that is devastating if you have, like, a particularly offensive Elementalist casting it.
Yeah.
Really, really powerful stuff. And it's still gimmicky and stupid and weird, and I've had a lot of people raging at me in chat and stuff just because they get annoyed.
Did you hear about the new map coming out that's not going to have capture points?
No, I didn't. What, for TPVP?
Yeah.
Really? No, I didn't. All right.
Yeah, I actually didn't look this up, so don't quote me on it, but I was on Guildcast, and they said, someone said they're thinking about making a map without capture points. It's not like set in stone what it's going to be and stuff like that, but it might be a different game mode. Well, it has to be a different game mode. No capture points, obviously. But, where it looks like we're going to get a different game mode. So it's either going to split the community or most of the community might go over to this one and actually play this one a lot more.
Stupid. Why are they... See, and, this is just my immediate reaction. My immediate reaction is a very negative one there, though, because they know the worry between making too many different game types with TPVP. I had assumed that the reason why they never put one out for so long is because whatever effort they're going into it, they're going to put out a really good game type like the old GVGs we used to see that would then carry, because as soon as they add a second one, people are just going to move over. If they add a deathmatch thing, then that's just going to muddy the waters even more. I think deathmatch people will enjoy for a short period of time, but then it will come across very shallow.
It better not be no deathmatch. I don't want a deathmatch. That's
okay, wait. So it could be something really complicated, but we just know it's got no capture points.
Yeah, no capture points. No, I don't want no team deathmatch. It's just skills.
That was my original. That's the first thing I thought.
Yeah. I really hope they're not doing deathmatch. That's just so unoriginal. What's the whole point of doing deathmatch? Like, you already have capture points. Like, it doesn't make any sense, Like, if they were to do that, I would kind of think, well, like, what is your philosophy here? Like if you're gonna make a deathmatch and then make some other PvP mode, you're gonna add 2 PvP modes that, you know, like, oh, some people like
3.
deathmatch because, you know, we just want to battle each other and kill each other. No, I don't want PvP to be about just killing people. I like PvP to be about strategy.
If people want to do that, they can in custom arenas.
Yeah, you know, I would like to see some cool capture the flag type stuff, or some cool, like, storm the castle type stuff. Everyone has a castle and you storm the castle, whatever, and you do something. I don't know, some other stuff like that.
Yeah. That's interesting. No, I hadn't heard of that. I had heard that a new game type was potentially coming early next year, and my hope was, and still is then, I guess, that it's something much more like...
Hold on, because obviously someone is coming through my door.
Hello!
Hurry up, babe. Just go
wow,
and get
don't be like that. Tell her she can join in.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
Anyways,
how are you going to segue through that?
It's just going to be nice and raw. That's how we're going to do it. No, we're not going to. I'm going to cut that out. Anyways, yeah, so what do you think they will add?
What, for the new game type?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I've got my hopes. I've talked about them before. Something, and I hate to say, I sound like such, you know, an idiotic, nostalgic GW1 player, but I really did. Well, okay, look, I was never really a big part of the old GVG community in the first game. I appreciate the game type and how good it was, and I sort of had a tertiary participation in it. But what I really loved from the first game was Heroes Ascent, which was the ladder-style tournament that progressed through multiple maps that swung different game modes as you went, and you would be able to hold the halls at the end. I loved Heroes Ascent, and I think it would be fantastic to see that back. Then again, I also loved what they used to do, even though barely any people paid them. The older paid tournament system was also fantastic. In Guild Wars 2, they are paid tourneys. They've just removed all the flair from it by just making it I remember the second it went to like the 1v1 matchups and we had it on Monastery, it sort of lost a lot of its flair and excitement. Like, at least with paids and even with QP, which were never... Qualifying points, by the way, basically what it used to be was you'd have free tournaments running. If you won the free tournament, you get a ticket. If you got enough tickets, you could pay to go into a paid tournament. And if you won a paid tournament, you get a qualifying point. And originally, the qualifying points were meant to be spent on, you know, getting into really big tournaments and with really nice rewards. But in the end, ArenaNet never used them. But, you know, QP, even though they were never used for anything, people in the community still, you know, got excited about qualifying points and who had the most and stuff. And that was cool. And that's just all gone. Like, what I think PvP needs right now isn't necessarily a new game type. I'm quite warm to Conquest after having played it for so long. I really think that Conquest does have a lot of good things with it. I think there could be a vastly better game type ArenaNet could make. I think the whole idea of Conquest, like, oh, we want it to be immediately visible who's winning the second you look at the screen. It doesn't matter, right? I think they completely failed with that. Because... Yes, you can see who's winning. You can see the points. The points are on the screen. Oh, look, this team's got more points than this team, so this team must be winning. But that doesn't matter. That's just sort of an arbitrary, abstract number on the screen. That doesn't translate to excitement for casual new viewers of the game type. Like, people don't know why one team has more points than the other. They just know that they do. Like, and there's so much action constantly split across the whole map. I think it's a terrible game type for spectating, for casting. I mean, God bless the casters do as best as they possibly can in this community, and it's damn hard to cast this game because I think Conquest itself is flawed in just how much action. There's never any there's no pacing, there's no like curves of excitement through matches where like big fights happen and then things ease off for a little while and people get tense again and then there's some other big play. It's just constant bam 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 excitement all the time, and the result is that there is no excitement at all, right? I think Conquest is just bad, but before all of that, before adding, you know, Heroes Ascent or GVG or whatever else back into the game, I think I just want to see some more robust tournament things come back in. I used to love paids, even though, as I say, they were rarely done.
Less hot join is good for me, anyway.
Hot join's fine to exist too, but I think, you know, hot join, and again, this wouldn't be a priority for me, but there's a lot of things they could do to improve hot join too that would make it more fun.
They need to, because people think hot join is PvP,
and the community leaks before it even gets started because of hot joins. That's completely right. And, you know, even something as simple as sending new players a mail after they've played, their 10th hot join or something, saying, hey, there are proper matches you can play if you want, you just go, and that pushes people over. That would be interesting. I liked the old random arenas style in Guild Wars 1 as well, where you would just hit play, you'd be thrown together with random teammates against another team of random people, and if you won, you all stayed together for the next round. And if you won that, you stayed together again. And if you won that, you stayed together again. If you got 10 wins in a row, then it would shift you from the random arenas into team arenas, which were specific areas where everyone grouped together and went in like that. And through this, you would just start off by randomly playing some PvP, but find, oh my god, I'm in this great team, and you start making friends, and then the game automatically puts you in teams. And then maybe you even, and this was rare, team was very, very difficult by the end, but maybe you even have some success in team arenas, and then you've made some friends, and then you've got a very automatic avenue then for just being a random guy that casually PvPs. Now you've got friends that you have experience playing in a team with in a competitive environment. How hard is it just to add them to your friends list and you all agree to meet up tomorrow and play some more? The Guild Wars 1 was so much better set up for that stuff, and Guild Wars 2's just got none of it, really. None. It had some of it at launch, and then they took it away. for what we now have solo queue and team queue, which I guess, it's something, so you can't complain too much. But hey, yeah, I mean, new game type, exciting, whatever. I don't want to ramble on too much.
All right, so, yeah, ramble.
I'll let you talk for the next half hour.
Yeah, let's do that. So also, I transferred to Turnish Coast because Broilers Pass was kind of, I don't know, like, I gotta say, I didn't think that Guild Wars 2, like, people say Guild Wars 2 is dead, right? Because you don't see a lot of people, and I think after transferring to this server, right, which is more of a community, more populated, should I say? Wow, there's a lot of people playing, like overflows everywhere, and I'm like, wow, where was I in Broilers Pass? Like, Broilers Pass was just so dead compared to TC. And and what I was getting at here is World v World. The difference in World v World and this one is that the queue is ridiculous. Like, it takes hours to get into queue.
Really?
Hours.
See, for me, that was something I only ever experienced at launch. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, in the big servers, they have this tier 1, tier 2, like, they have these long queues.
Do you think that maybe, where you pick your server, like if you want to guest or something, how it says high, full, yeah?
Yeah.
When it says how populated it, do you think that that's a sign that maybe that's a bit inaccurate? If there's such a vast difference between the population of your previous server and
definitely, because that's what I judged upon. I was previously on a very high server. There's a big difference between what I was at Broilers Pass and how TC was, and I think they're the same rank, very high. I think so. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I was on the high to me.
And I've experienced that too. When I was Ember farming, I went to Blackgate. And it was ridiculous looking at ore. Like, and obviously there were a lot of people there, but the Cursed Shore was like completely dead basically on Emery Bay. And then you go there and it's just everywhere you look, every possible nook and cranny, there's a player running around doing something. It's like this really bizarre feeling.
Yeah, yes. That's why I kind of I'm like, man, I wanted, because I like to PvE, but there's like nobody in PvE on the server I used to be on. So it's just like, holy crap, this is so much better. This is so much better. And yeah, like, it really adds to the game when you actually meet like a very active guild, and there's constantly people going around. There's constantly people talking in map chat and different maps other than Lion's Arch. There's actually overflows in Lion's Arch, which is weird, and not only during events. So it's like it's really cool to see. It's really cool. People are really active in World v World. That's kind of why people transfer to these bigger servers, I think. For me, I didn't want to just go to like Blackgate or something, because like they're like the top dog right now. Like, I just want to go to I wanted to go to a server just because they had like a role-playing community. I was like, you know what? They're going to have a base that's always going to be there, because I don't want to go to a server that's just going to die eventually. It's just like all of a sudden people are leaving, and everyone's gonna go off to some other World v World server. No, I wanted to go to a server that had some World v World, had some PvE, and all those elements in it, and had a community already there. And once I saw like Turnish Coast was kind of involved in Pink Day in LA, I was like, that's probably a good server to be on because, they have a community to actually do that, And what I was getting at with the World v World stuff is that now they're adding the Edge of the Mist, right? The Edge of the Mist is like an overflow thing, right? Yeah. What happens is Edge of the Mist, I'm pretty sure Edge of the Mist was created because some sort of, there's an overflow problem, obviously, where basically all you have is people queuing up for World v World for hours and hours and hours, right? And there's like a limit of like around 100 people for each server. So 300 people on each map. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. They're tweaking it constantly, so you don't really know what's like the full number. That's not a lot, especially for a very high popular server. Yes, they have to cap the amount of people, or it become like not balanced, obviously, because if a high server,
think of people's rigs too as well.
Yeah,
well, I guess with culling.
Yeah, and of course, the lag. If you add more, like 100 more players to the cap, can you imagine the lag of all those people in one spot? It would be horrendous, like 1 frame per second, pretty much, 1 frame per second. So they really need to fix that type of stuff. Now they're trying to do this overflow thing where you can play World v World without being in World v World. This will not like affect your World v World stats though. This will be, I guess, just for fun and kind of for GVGs as well. From what I've heard of, this is like the Band-Aid for GVGs, Edge of the Mist, and it looks really good. Have you seen the pictures for it?
Yeah, I saw on Reddit well, first of all, wasn't the GVG thing was going into the Eternal Battlegrounds jumping puzzle, wasn't it?
That's what I thought as well. I'm like, is this for the GVGs or this is for? I didn't know. I think they might be separate.
I think the GVG is separate. It's coming sooner. It's going into the jumping puzzle thing, and they're also adding a new map, completely new map, that is really big as well. Like, well, actually, maybe it's just the size of the Eternal Battlegrounds itself. Like, they say it was bigger than South Sun, like 3 times the size of South Sun or something like that. But, like, it's set on these little islands that apparently are in the sky. Like, this is floating way above the Eternal Battlegrounds. This is
Edge of the Mist. That's what it was.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's not the GVG thing. The GVG thing was separate.
Yeah. The thing about that though, just to point out, if you have to wait in a queue for the GVG thing, what's the point of the GVG thing?
No, but you don't, because the GVG thing isn't in Eternal Battlegrounds. It's in the jumping puzzle. So there's going to be.
How do you get to the jumping puzzle without going to?
Well, they're adding it directly.
Okay,
they're
adding it.
Yeah, they're adding a new thing. So there's going to be 6 maps. There's going to be there's going to be 3 for each borderland. There's the Eternal Battlegrounds. There's the jumping puzzle map. That's 5, and now they're adding Edge of the Mist 2, which can be overflows. Doesn't affect the regular scoring of World versus World. But the interesting thing about this is that they're using it as sort of, it's like a beta area for people where they can test out mechanics and gameplay things without impacting the World versus World competition itself. Like, and I think this has come directly from the fact that a lot of people complained about the Bloodlust. They were saying, oh, Bloodlust is just bad, blah, 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 blah. But the devs were basically backed into a corner where they were saying, look, we've got these cool ideas. We can only test so much in-house. We only have so many testers. We only have so many resources we can use. Sometimes to make sure this stuff works, to see whether it works or not, it has to go into the game, and in a way that's kind of experimental. And now this new map is sort of their response to that. It's a way for them to do stuff like the Borderlands Bloodlust, see how it works in the community with lots of people playing it, and then go from there and decide whether it goes into regular World versus World gameplay or not. And that's going to be particularly important too now that the seasons are going on and people are actually going to be a bit more competitive about World versus World. Not saying people weren't already, but there's more at stake now. Yeah. So that's a big reason why they've added the map. But it's exciting to me, man. It sounds really cool.
Yeah, because no longer you'll always be able to go on side of a map. Now, whether that map will be big or not, and it won't get Like, I think you could just join a party and just join their overflow, if anything.
Yeah, it'll be like that. And I think, so the idea, if people are wondering why would I want to do this if it doesn't affect the regular World vs. World game, you can still go there to get, like, World vs. World ranks and, like,
what about achievements? I wonder about that.
I guess achievements, maybe not the achievements specific to the season, but other achievements would be fine.
Yeah.
But you can go there for like daily, definitely. You know, if you want to do your daily World versus World stuff, you don't have to wait in queues. So it's just as rewarding as regular World versus World, but it doesn't have an impact on the regular standing of the guilds and matches that are going on, which is great for me personally because I have no investment in my server's success in World versus World. I just go in there because I want my daily, because I want to level up a few times, or because I want to kill people with this funny build I've made with the runes of the perplexity, which still haven't been patched, I think, which is great. You know, that's the reason why I want a World versus World, and that's going to be perfect for me. And if it means we get all these quirky and interesting mechanics, and they're like Sky Islands, right? So
yeah, I thought that was amazing because people could fall off.
Awesome.
Yeah, I want that.
If you
want to
fall
see
off, you
people
go
just
into the
fall
main
off.
map. Yeah, that'd be so good.
Oh yeah, you just fall.
That's the
to
way
death.
you leave. When you're placed in the queue, gets all the way to the front. You don't get to click a button. It says, "Right, great, you're at the front of the queue. Now jump off," and then it will put you in a loading screen. You'll fall down dead, and you can waypoint to where you want to go and be on your way. That'd be amazing.
Gosh, that would be pretty great. Probably never happened though.
Yeah, no.
All right, so Cassix Hills have been cut down. Not cut down. The trees have been cut down, and something's going on.
The hills are gone?
Oh my goodness! And there's like this big, like, I don't know, forest field in the middle of the lake, which is kind of weird as well. So like, as the picture that we saw in the release notes, there's like this tower, I guess you can say. Like, the only reason I thought it was a tower is because I watched this video. He says it's a huge, massive structure or tower, and I'm like, what? Really?
Yeah. Apparently, I didn't see it from my own eyes, but apparently there is like a black tower in there, and people data mined the full like model and texture of it, and it looks huge. It's definitely like a crate obelisk tower thing, definitely. But what it's looking like the patch is going to be the next patch. I don't know whether this will be the halfway through Halloween patch or like the next one after that. But it looks like this patch is going to be around this lake, Viathan Lake. It's not going to be underwater content too much. It's just going to be like this massive tower that we can climb, which also is exciting to me. I love the idea of like a dungeon crawling.
Yeah, I was thinking about the JRPGs, and you know how they have floors?
Yes, the Via Purifico.
So what if they have like a tower and they have like different floors and stuff like that? That would be pretty cool. I wonder how they would do that.
It's like a survival thing. How high can you get? Like, basically what Fractals and the Mists could have been. Like, every floor you get higher and higher. There's a different randomly... It's definitely not going to be this. But, you know, it's a different challenge on each floor. And it gets harder as you go. And if you die, then that's it. It's game over. You go back. And you've got to make your way up with your team. And it's a part of the open world instead of a part of an instance. So you get to, like, the 50th floor and you find, like, this tired guy. Like, oh, I've made it so far. Let's team up and see if we can go any further. And he walks through the door first and immediately gets smacked by a boulder and dies. And he has to go back.
Temporary characters. So
That'd be so good. That'd be so... Well, it's probably not going to be that, but it is a big tower in Viathan Lake. So.
Right. It'll be great. That'll be pretty cool. I want to see what happens if you get to the top and stuff like that.
Yeah. What do you think about the fact that they have added this stuff in before the patch came out? Do you like that?
Yes, I think they should do that more often. Kind of like the way how they do, like, you know, there's a patch every 2 weeks, but in between that week there's always like patch notes or release notes for like the next week as well. I wish I want to see them do that more often, definitely, because a lot of people were like excited for the next patch because of, you know, like the Queen Jenna example is when they marked her face. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, the next patch. You know, getting people excited for each patch, I think it's the best way to do these living story patches, because people just lose interest. You know, like if the patches are not expansions, they want expansions, so they're looking for that thing to make them log in. You know, and they need to be excited. They need, when they go on Reddit, they need to see like, oh my gosh, speculation on Cassix Hills, trees gone missing. Is it just a random cutting? Is it the Quaggins? Oh my goodness, let's find out. You know, so like
that was a great voice.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I can't wait to see how it is. I really hope it's like cool looking. I think, at least, you know, we talked about it last week. about them changing like the area for the World vs. World Living Story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like making
The brand we were talking about.
Yeah, like the brand, like how, you know, like I thought like the Shatterer was just gonna, when he comes down, he just changes the whole atmosphere, changes the ground, changes everything. And I could understand how bad that would be. And I thought like in the old Gamescom trailer that when the Shatterer falls, he makes like this dig into the floor and stuff like that. But I know they can't really do all that craziness. Hopefully, like with Cat 6 Hills, like how they cut down the trees, I hope they change it a little bit more, you know, make it like something's happening here, you know, other than it just being like, oh, it's Cat 6 Hills with a couple of trees cutting down. No, I want to see something.
I think that's a really good start. I'm very, you know, they added NPCs there. They changed it in quite a big way. They added a big effect there. I think it's pretty nice. I don't know how excited I am about it, though, because honestly, in retrospect, you know, since Super Adventure, the last few patches, Tequatl, all these patches have been fun. Tequatl, the new dungeon path, and now Halloween's back.
They've been getting kind of bare, a little bit bare.
But yeah, in retrospect, and I hate this idea of complaining about free content that's gone in the game or saying it's not enough or whatever. But it is curious to me because I remember at the Crown Pavilion when they added that, and there was this whole new district in Divinity's Reach. There was so much content there. And I remembered thinking that was sort of the height of when they were saying, "Oh, look, we're only ramping up. You know, soon you'll see the fruits of the labors of a team through, you know, their full work period kind of thing, like because they were only just building up." And I remember thinking at that point, "Oh man, every single patch is going to be like this. This is crazy amounts of content. This is really good. This is new areas. You know, this is sort of a lot of new stuff." And then the past 3 patches, Halloween included, have been, you know, really eased off on that.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm a little bit more skeptical again of the Living Story strategy, and I'm a little bit more if we get like one Crown Pavilion thing and a Super Adventure Box thing, and then like very little for like 2 months, and then maybe something, you know, it puts it more into perspective. It's not really 2 weeks a major content release. It's not really. It's sort of, you know, we're getting a release every 2 weeks, and maybe after every 2 months or so we'll get something quite substantive. And it is that thing. It's like I say, you can't really complain too much about totally free things, but you can talk about it when it's this or an expansion, you know.
Yeah, the thing is, people are looking at these release pages, or they're looking at us when we come out with a video. Like you've had the comments, right? Oh, I don't play Guild Wars 2, but I like listening to you and, you know, seeing what's going on in Guild Wars 2. You know,
it's like me. I haven't played Minecraft in like a year and a half, but I still watch Minecraft patch videos just to see what's going in the game. Like,
exactly.
And I get excited about it as well, which is stupid. And I don't play the game, but there's always that idea that maybe something will be like, oh yeah, look at this. And also for me as well, with that perspective, oftentimes I'm like, oh, this is a cool little change. And slowly it's going to build up. It's like for Minecraft, every time they announce there's a new enemy or a new type of enemy, I'm like, this is cool, these are all cool little things. When I eventually make my new survival character, it's going to feel like a completely different game kind of thing. It's going to feel really fun. And I have that luxury with Minecraft patches, but for people in my situation, but for Guild Wars 2, they don't have that luxury because so much of this is temporary.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot, again, of the animosity comes from in the community, because people don't have that assurance. So, but, you know, again, ArenaNet are making a lot more permanent stuff. Halloween is the exception to the rule here. Both the Tequatl and the patch before that have been permanent content. So
right.
nice.
Eddie, you were mentioning before, like, you weren't really playing it as much. And I got to say, I haven't been either. Every time I've logged in, I've done dungeons and, like, guild stuff. That's pretty much it. World v. World, you know, stuff like that. Like, I just didn't really care. Like, once I did the ClockTower, that's pretty much it. That was my whole interest in the whole patch. I did a couple of the mini games, but it doesn't really like, oh my gosh, I got to play Inquisition right now. I have to do it. Like, I don't have that urge. And I totally just forgot about the story, which is bad. I need to go play it. I actually wanted to finish it because I thought it was actually pretty decent, but I got glitched. Like, it didn't work for me.
Yeah, it glitched for me too.
And after that, I just kind of like forgot about it, which is
no, I replayed it. It glitched for me. I replayed it after I heard that it was patched, but I can't be bothered to. And the meta is not even hard. It's really not, what, like 50 trick-or-treat bags or something. It's not, but I've just not bothered. And for me though, personally, that's just been wrapped up in PvP instead.
Yeah, I've been more World v. World and dungeons, and I'm trying to get a fractal group together so I can just keep running fractals to get my capacitor. I need to get that. I never got
Dude,
that.
I got my 500 fractals or whatever it is for the achievement, and I have never gone back in there. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so burnt out. The only reason why I want to go back in fractals at the moment is because Mesmers can use the skill Mimic to steal the Mossman's axe that applies agony, and then use that ability on bosses that don't cast agony themselves. So, like, you know, like the Lornar's Pass, not Lornar's Pass, you know, the Snowblind fractal. Where it's very cold and you got the chill effect. You know, there's that big ice elemental boss that you've got to fight halfway through it. If you steal the Mossman's axe as a Mesmer and keep hold of the skill, you can activate that skill on the ice elemental and kill it in like half a second.
Are you kidding me?
Or Siege Master Delphi. There are videos of this stuff, right? Siege Master Delphi, you can throw the Mossman's axe at her. It does 330, like a high scale fractal, like a 48 fractal or something. 333,000 damage 3 times. The agony ticks on her 3 times and instantly nukes her. And you can see it from like the Mesmer's perspective. It's just like these ungodly, ridiculously high damage numbers that just blow her up. Kill her in a second, and then you move on.
Wow.
Like, it's a cool trick. And it's not an exploit either. ArenaNet just said, look, this is a creative and fun way of using the game's mechanic, and they say that it's fine. Because it is kind of difficult to hold on to. Once that Mesmer's got that skill, he can't be downed. If he gets downed, then it's game over. And if you get like the, because you lose the ability, and if you get like the Dolphin Fractal, then that Mesmer has to stay behind, because they can't be I believe anyway, you can't be turned into the dolphin, because then you lose the skill as well. So you're a man down for that fractal. But if you can hold on to this stuff, then yeah, you can do incredible damage. That's the only reason I want to go into fractals, but I'm not going to do it because I don't even play Mesmer that much.
All right, so you were telling me that a tip for my guardian.
Tip time with Wood and Potatoes.
I am so excited to hear this. I am so
excited. It's Friday. Okay, right. Pro tip, seriously. Here's a pro tip that I've learned again because of my PvPing recently. I was experimenting a bit with DPS guard. Thought it was boring, by the way. Dude, you got a legendary greatsword on a guardian? That is so boring, man. What the hell?
Excuse me?
Greatsword is so boring. Oh, I'm spinning around. Oh, I've got a leap ability. I'm spinning. The most vaguely interesting thing you have as a guardian with a greatsword is the ability to pull people around. Oh my god, like, I stopped playing it pretty much straight away. However, I'm not here to berate your choice of class or anything like that.
I'm appalled. What the hell? Oh, because I can't, slide around on the floor with fire and all that cool stuff. That doesn't mean anything. Not everyone can be an Ellie. Okay.
Engineer's pretty fun too. Mesmer's pretty fun. I don't know. It was boring. Okay. I don't know. I was just playing it for a while, and it is just sort of, I don't know, roll through the skills a bit. I don't really like dagger on Ellie either, because it feels a lot like that. It's just sort of spend your cooldowns and swap. But anyway, pro tip is, if you turn off melee target assist in your options, first of all, do you know what that option does?
Yeah. It as soon as you attack, it doesn't just automatically go to somebody.
No, that's auto-targeting.
Oh, melee assist. What does the melee assist do then?
So the one option is auto-targeting, which is where it will pick the target for you. And most people, for the record, this is another pro tip, you want to have that turned off most of the time, because it allows you to use skills to run away when otherwise
right, and not
the game would just
swipe back, right?
Yeah, so that's one thing. But there's another option, melee target assist or something it's called. And what this does is, if the option is on and you've got a melee weapon like a guardian with a greatsword, when you are auto attacking something as you walk over to it, the game puts a hitbox on the thing that you're fighting so that you can't walk into it. Right, so while you're attacking it, if you're running forward against it while you're attacking it, you'll stop moving. It's like, there's collision there. You can't walk through it, right? That's what that's what the melee thing does. And it in general, it sort of helps you. It helps you as a melee player to not accidentally walk through an enemy or something, okay? Which makes sense. But if you turn that off, then when you're attacking people in melee, then you can just sort of go in, like, directly inside their model, which means sometimes you can miss. But the Guardian Greatsword 2, okay, so that's the spinning around attack, right?
Yeah.
You know how many times would you say that hits? 3, 4 times?
No, way more than that.
If you're in the symbol when you do it, then it's getting hit more because the combo field and stuff. But if you just use it once, it's only like 3, 4, 5 tops hits.
Hold up, you're talking about the spin move, or are you talking about the symbol?
I'm talking about the spin move.
I don't know the exact number. Yeah, I don't know.
It's got to be like 4 or 5 times, surely.
Yeah, like 5. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you turn off melee attack assist, right, then that will let you walk inside the enemy, and if you're like directly inside who you're attacking and you use the ability, it will hit like 15, 20 times. It like boosts your damage massively as a Guardian, because that skill will then like register the enemy's hitbox multiple times from all around you. You know how it's an AoE thing where it damages everyone around you? Like around the outside of you.
Yeah.
Well, if melee's on, then it can only damage them at one angle. But if you stand inside them and use it again, it's damaging them from all angles around you. If that makes sense.
What?
So
what type of hacks is that?
Yeah, I spent ages to explain that. But yeah, it's cool. It helps your damage massively as a Guardian. I was watching one of your videos and I saw that you weren't using it, so I thought, hey, pro tip time. I'll tell you about that.
Wow,
and,
that's actually pretty cool. I gotta try that out now.
Just turn it off, and then when you're fighting enemies, you walk inside them before you use the skill 2, and you'll do more damage. It's pretty cool. I might have bigged that up a bit too much now, but yeah, that's it. It does boost your damage.
Question time.
That's a show in England, by the way.
Question time?
Political. Is it question time? I think it's question time. Yeah, it is. It's like a political show where they get prominent members of each political party on to discuss controversial and important topics of the day. And
wow.
And the only one, the most. This is going to show how bad I'm not a politics person, right? The last one of these I watched was where they had the head person of the BNP, which is the British National Party, I think, which are like these ridiculously racist, bigoted party that everyone hates in this country, like absolutely hates. They're like vile people with terrible policies. And they got a spot, them of all people got a spot on this, prominent political show. And that was the only episode I tuned in on, and the audience were just...
It's like the KKK there. That's what it is.
It's basically the equivalent. Like, they're not violent or anything. They're a political party, but like...
Oh, they're violent here in Georgia, crazy. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, man. It was... Anyway, you're right.
We're not going to talk about racism on the show.
And politics. We do it all here. We do it all. You want to go for the questions then, yeah?
Yeah. Let's go with
all right, question 1 is from... Rink My Fukan, who says,
okay,
who says, why should the player character be the main hero or an important character to the plot in MMORPGs? I can understand that works well for single player games, but in MMOs, nearly every person playing is the hero. I wish they would stick a sword in my hand and tell me I am just a soldier among an army of thousands. Do you think a player has to be of importance to the plot? I'm very interested in your answer to this.
Oh boy. This is all right. So my opinion on this is that, yeah, I can understand definitely, like, if it's called personal story, right? So the argument could be it's my personal story. So in my personal story, I am the hero, right? That could be an argument. Me personally, it doesn't really matter to me, but the story has to be, if they're going to pull this off where I'm not the hero, I'm just like somebody like in the sidelines, the story has to be like good. It has to be wrapped around it, because when you're not involved and you're just like regular soldier, you don't get to go on these cool missions. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to be on this, oh, the secret mission to infiltrate the secret group to infiltrate the group of Zaitan or whatever. You're not part of that because you're just a soldier. Now, if you're a part of that story, you also don't want to feel like you're the assistant as well. You're Trahern's assistant and you just like follow him around like, like I don't want to be that either. So it's weird. It's weird. Like, I'm okay. I think it all depends on how they pull it off, really. I mean, I guess that can be said for anything.
Yeah,
but
the question here is, what did Guild Wars 2... Because I'm in agreement, but what did Guild Wars 2 do wrong then? Like, and I think they did do something wrong, but I'm just not sure what it is myself. Like,
right.
And it's this interesting idea because, for me, I think that MMORPGs, it makes sense that the story should pin you as, just a regular grunt. That said, I also think it would be just as easy for an MMO to make you the hero of the world and that's it, and players just suspend their disbelief, right? And all these other people walking around, then they just suspend their disbelief and no, it was me, I was the hero that saved the day. I can understand that too, and I don't think it would be too much to ask players for them to suspend their disbelief. I just like you, Matt, I don't care about the personal story thing. I think anyone who uses that as an argument for why they don't like Traherne and why that's why Guild Wars 2 sucked, because I wasn't the hero and it's the personal story. I think anyone using that as an argument is a moron. That's semantics. It's so arbitrary. Oh, so what? They called it the personal story. Who gives a damn? Maybe there's some credence to that argument when you consider that someone might have bought the game because, it has a personal story and I'm the hero, blah, blah, blah. But it's such a weak argument. I don't care for it. But
what I really care about is the story, right? Like the story is what's the focus here. It has to be good.
I think Traherne and this whole idea, this whole discussion, I didn't like the personal story because I wasn't the hero. I think that's just sort of an easy thing to say. That's a bit of a scapegoat in the community. Like, people use that as their reason for why they don't like the personal story. But I think the problems with the personal story are far beyond that. There are the real
first
thing,
30 levels. Like, the first 30 levels is amazing, and then after that, it's just like, oh, okay.
I don't even think the first 30 levels are that good. I really don't.
Really? I enjoyed the first 30 levels. Like, the Savari and stuff like that. I wanted to learn more what was going on in the Savari timeline when we went to go see, like, the Peltry helped you go to this another dimension and stuff. I thought that was amazing. And then after that, it's like this generic stuff with, I didn't really like any of the, like, some of the visual missions were fine, but I don't know. I think a lot of the difficulty scaling in the beginning kind of messed it up for me.
Yeah, I mean, well, then you've got the idea of the mechanics screwing it as well. I know a lot of my friends in guildies, and I think this is unfair that people do this, but a lot of people, start saying, the personal story sucks, this story sucks, blah, 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 and it's really got nothing to do with the story they're telling, but because they had a bug where they couldn't complete their story instance until, the Halloween patch or something. And for that reason, they are now against the personal story, even though they don't give it a shot. I think also the first 30 levels, they're filled with a bit more mystery, and that can carry people over. You care a little bit more when the first guy in the personal story dies, but when you're at your 5th or your 6th random person to die, then it doesn't matter. I heard one interesting perspective from someone once that I tend to agree with, in that the rate that they swap characters around in the personal story is just terrible. It's, remember this guy? He was your long-lost childhood friend. Okay, right, well, we're done with him now for 10 levels. Okay, now who's this person? They're going to introduce you to your order. All right, we're done with them. Now this person's your main person while you're in your order. Oh, no, they died. That's a shame.
The guy that you help, the guy that you help in your human personal story, like, they're gone. Like, a lot of the characters, they're just gone. You build with these characters for the first 30 levels, and all of a sudden, who cares? Who cares anymore? And the whole thing that someone has to die at that Lion's Arch crap, and it's always the same person, the person that is, like, helping you through, like, your whatever faction. I think that's incredibly just, like, it's just bad.
It's like I say, they have this thing where they have to have all these patterns. Everything, we're going to give all these people different decisions, but they have to be equal. It doesn't matter that you picked Order of Whispers or Dermot Priory. Everyone has to have someone who died, because everyone has to have been impacted by Zhaitan. It just all comes across really cardboard, and even if they were desperate to do that, then I could understand it if they really put some thought into the execution. But they didn't even do that. The Claw Island one is the most insulting, because the Claw Island one, like, I think the Norn, if you're a part of the Vigil, the Norn that dies, like, there is so little reason, like, just the reason for all these characters stay behind that gate in the same way is just ridiculous. It's just done really, really lazily so that they could stick with a vision that was crippling them from the start.
It's like, what? It's like, you ever watch that show? It's just like, why did he have to die? Or that movie, should I say, where it's like, okay, why did he have to die? This makes no sense whatsoever. You could have just ran away with him. That's how I felt with that. It's just like, What do you mean? Oh, I have to stay. What? Just close the door and come with me.
Yeah.
Any one of these stupid soldiers that no one cares about can do the same dang thing. He could be a hero. Yeah, we'll write. Can you write your name right here? And yeah, we'll make sure that you get credit for dying. Instead of someone who's actually important, who actually has, that's why, troops say, save the captain. It's like, because the captain is worth a little bit more than everyone else, because the captain is one who's the head. That's when you kill troops in a war, you kill troops. When you kill the head, that's game over. Like the tactician is dead. Someone else has to step up to the plate. This doesn't make any sense.
And the thing is, like,
it
what
took me out as soon as I saw that.
Yeah, like, and they could have done, they could have executed it better. First of all, like, they could have been like, all right, well, look, we'll make this character the Norn. He's going to die and sacrifice himself, but it's because he's a Norn and he wants to go out as a legend. And we're really going to play into that, and there's going to be dialogue that talks about that, and there's going to be hints of that before the event. So it makes sense to the player. We're going to have one of these characters is legitimately going to want to get away, but they have been injured, they've been trapped under rubble or something, and they go out when they didn't want to. And, it's against their own will. And the third character, will make him suicidal or something. And before the Claw Island attack, they're going to be talking about how, they got nothing to live for or something. So then, and then there are 3 good reasons. It doesn't have to be those reasons, examples. But then you have 3 good reasons for why it would happen. But even still then, my problem is that it happens for all 3 of them, and the second you realise it's happened for everyone in that way, it takes you out of the moment. Then you would have to go further. It's like, okay, you want 3 characters to die, then be smart about it. They don't all die at Claw Island. Maybe one dies during the level 30 story, one dies during the level 40, one dies during the level 50. Not everything in the real world is stupidly cardboard and clear cut like that, and just, perfectly matched up in the way that ArenaNet organised their personal story. And every decision you make is just pointless. I've done a big rant on the personal story before, but my point is, back to the question, this idea of, do you have to be the main hero? I don't think you have to be the main hero at all. I love games and works of media where we're not following the main hero at all, but we're following the perspective of someone else. I think that works a lot better in MMOs. But hey, we could have been the main hero. That's got nothing to do with why Guild Wars 2's personal story was bad, though. Guild Wars 2's personal story was bad for a lot of different reasons. And you can talk about those till you're blue in the face. I think the next what this guy's talking about is the biggest one that everyone talks about. The other one is like, oh, I didn't like Traherne's voice acting. That's the other one that people don't like. But again, I think that's just a tiny problem in a.
I didn't like Traherne as a character, really. I don't know.
Oh, that's controversial.
Yeah, let's
How
not
can
talk
you say
about this.
that?
Anyway,
That's ridiculous.
Anyways,
oh my god.
Anyways, let's go on.
Matt
let's
Visual
go on.
doesn't like Traherne, guys. That is. Oh my god. Wow.
Let's go on. Next question. We talked on this topic way too much.
Question 2. Lance Leduc said, now this guy's going to feel ripped off because we're going to do like a 2-second thing and then just skip past. Lance Leduc says, well, what would you guys feel about other races having additional holidays to celebrate? The humans have celebrated some 20 years of Queen Jenna's rule, and all of the races celebrate the Dragon Bash. What about some sort of holiday for the other races? Surely the Sylvari could have some sort of event celebrating their life as a race and now living 25 years on Tyria. What do you guys think? Would you like to see some more racially focused events? And if so, what would you like to see? Well, I mean, for me, before launch, like, Meetoberfest was something we heard about before launch, and I thought this was going to be like a Char holiday, like a Char-specific holiday. I think it's an interesting idea. And practically speaking, in terms of the living story, it's a good idea too, because the more events that they can have come back constantly, the better, the more content it allows them to make down the line, kind of thing. Like, imagine if there was a Halloween type thing every month where they could just reuse a bunch of stuff and it makes sense for them to reuse it. That would be good.
What about the Great Hunt?
What about it?
How often is the Great Hunt?
I don't know. It would be an interesting idea, though. Yeah, maybe that could be another thing.
Yeah, and everyone can do it, like all races and stuff like that. I would love that. I mean,
that
an
is
actual
a non-specific thing.
Good. Yeah, that's a Norn thing, I think. I'm pretty sure.
No, it is. Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, that would be another thing with the Norn. Could be like the anniversary of when they came to the south when their home was destroyed, and then they formed Holbrack and stuff. That could be a cool thing for the Norn.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff they can do. I don't know if it's a priority to them. I think that's like one of those projects. Like it's like, oh, we could have a Norn holiday here this year or whatever. I don't think it's gonna be like, bam, 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 bam. We're gonna have like a bunch of stuff. I think like that's gonna be like something in the back of their minds. Like, oh, we could do this for, this event up ahead. That's like, another holiday event that's really small or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think it would be a good idea, and I think practically speaking, it might be something that is a priority for them, just because of how it's cyclical. And like, look at the patches that they've done. The Queen's Jubilee and the Crown Gauntlet, we know that they're coming back. The Zephyr Sanctum, we know that it's coming back at some point. Dragon Bash is coming back. Winter's Day, Halloween. These are all things coming back, and they've done that deliberately. It's because as the future goes on, there's always something different going on. And particularly with respect to new players, that's a very good thing, right? And it stops it all feeling so temporary. It's temporary in the short term, but on the scale of years, it's not temporary at all. Next question is from Michael Wenzel, who says, what do you guys think about having the Clock Tower have increased rewards for consecutive completions with a cap reward? I think that would be badass. That'd be amazing. I would love it.
How was it last year? Last year, you got a lot of karma for doing it over and over again, right?
Did you? I don't know. I didn't care about karma last year.
Yeah. Back then, karma was like a thing. Everyone was doing karma stuff. But this year you just get a chest that gives you a glove that you can click on any stat you want, which is pretty damn good reward. But you just get like I forgot what are these crystals. I think it's like ascended stuff that you need for your weapon, and of course
Imperial
ascended armor that's coming out later on. But like that's pretty much it. That's all you get. And I did a daily, and I still didn't get a chest. Is that a thing? That you just don't get, that's all you get?
I think they patched it in, didn't they? They put out a patch where you get more rewards at... Isn't that the fragments? Isn't that what they did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You get the fragments. That's pretty much
I think that's it. I think that's what
I didn't play it until like the live stream. I waited.
I haven't played it since the patch went out, so I've got no idea. I know they added Halloween rewards for PvP, but
the thing is, now I agree with you. Like last week, you said that Halloween Clock Tower was easy. It's easy now. Like
it is, right?
Yeah, it is because I did a jumping puzzle. Like I did a whole bunch of jumping puzzles, and I did it last year. After 30 minutes, I beat it, and then I did it 3 times during the live stream. Right, they kept wanting me to do it, so I did it in between, and then I did it at the end. By the end of the live stream, and midway too, it took me 3 tries.
Yeah,
that's it. I died twice for some stupid reason, and then. Like I just ran right through, like nothing.
See, it's one of those things though. Like I hate hearing myself say that the Clock Tower is easy. Like there's a lot of people out there who are just like, oh, this is easy. They're like these horribly, sad people that feel like they have something to prove constantly. They're like, oh, well, this is really easy. Oh, Tequattle's not that hard. Blah 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 blah.
Oh, right. Like, Tequattle, that's a different story.
You don't need that much coordination. You don't need, but there's like there are a lot of people like that, and I sound just like one of those people when I'm like the Clock Tower is pretty easy. But like that is something I genuinely believe. Like that if you have done a few jumping puzzles, and it's interesting that after 365 days I was able to just jump back in there and muscle memory carried me through it really quickly. Really weird that happened, but like it is sort of an easier thing than I think a lot of people build it up to be. But having said that, I think there are a lot of people who are having fresh experiences with it. I saw a post about this guy that made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of attempts at it and posted on Reddit when he finally got in, and it was this great, awesome moment for him. And, to those people I say congrats. You stuck with it, and it doesn't matter how hard you found it if that added to your enjoyment at the end. So It's an interesting idea, though.
And I complain about rewards, right, in Guild Wars 2. Everyone has known that the rewards, I feel like blues and greens is just not good enough, even with the luck change. After a while, you just don't really care about the luck. To get back to the question, with the Halloween Clock Tower, I really don't think it needs to have this grand reward. Like, like people are saying, oh, the rewards suck, the rewards suck. Like I think it's on the same thing of tribulation mode for Super Adventure Box, where you feel satisfied that you have conquered, like you have literally conquered the clock tower, which is supposedly the hardest jumping puzzle in the game. Where it used to be known, because I've had trouble on other jumping puzzles. Now that I just learned the clock tower, it's just easy to me. Like a couple tries, it took me 6 hours, over 6 hours the first time I tried the clock tower. All right, last year. And I guess I was a little bit of a newbie at like how to control my character. But now that I know how to control my Norn, and I've done so many jumping puzzles, I kind of get it already. It's like you just kind of know. You know, it's like playing League of Legends for the first time, right? You play League of Legends for the first time and you suck. I mean, you suck, especially if you haven't played MOBAs before. Man. And then all of a sudden, like, it's just natural. Like, even with a new character, you just kind of get what to build. You kind of get it. With this, it's the same thing with this. I got back into the clock tower, and I just understand my character, understand its limits. I understand how I'm supposed to jump, especially with a big old fat Norn. And it's good that we don't have char butts in our face anymore.
Yeah, on that topic too, I do think there is something to be said for the having the wisps around you rather than big character models. I really do feel like that's impacted it in a very positive way. It has made it easier because, like, to be perfectly honest, when I played it this year, my mouse was messing up, and I was having, like, it felt like I was having the same bug I had last year, where you jump in at the top and it wouldn't let you go in, and, like, it would just kill you anyway. But those things, and especially with the big characters, the one thing that's really annoying about the stuff like that is when you fail but it was completely out of your hands. And how it was last year with all of those massive characters, if you were on a tiny little Asura or something and you couldn't even see yourself, that was one of those things that was really, really prominent the whole time. And now that's been fixed. I think that's awesome. What do you think about how they made it PvP, by the way? A lot of my guildies were like, oh, where's it PvP now?
I don't like the PvP thing. I like being able to play with my friends and stuff like that, even though, I mean, it's kind of like you can't have both. You can't have the Wisp and your friends at the same time, because they're just going to be a little ball. Even though a little ball would be pretty cool to have with you anyway, like, and you can see their name and stuff like that. But I never like PvP activities because I have to have the PvP gear. You know, I have decent gear now, but I still look ugly. You know, I like to have my legendary and stuff in my PvP characters. I just need to play PvP a lot more.
On that topic, I finally got rank 50. I'd been like 90% done on rank 49 for months now. Months and months. I just hadn't finished getting it. I finally got rank, because I've been PvPing this week. Finally got rank 50, so now I'm rocking my Flame Legion armor, and I'm feeling, well, a mix of Flame Legion armor and Order of Whispers armor, and I'm feeling like a total awesome badass. It's so cool. It's awesome. And yeah, in the clock tower, I feel fine because I've got cool gear anyway.
It doesn't really matter. Next question.
I really should open these up a bit quicker. Ryan Nemmer. Wait, hold on. Is that the next question? No, sorry. Wolf and Crew. Ryan, you're next. Wolf and Crew says, hey, Matt and Joey, I was wondering, Joey, where would I be able to start learning about Guild Wars 2 lore? I don't really know much about it, and I would love to know.
Well, it just so happens that a certain member of VisualWood makes lore videos.
You make lore videos?
No, you, dang it. I wanted to make lore videos, but I think that ship has sailed, my friend.
But I was already on the scene and rocking it.
Rocking it hardcore. Like, people are just going to compare me, like, to you. Like, oh my gosh, Winnie Potato's British voice, I just like it in my ears. And you, I just don't like it, okay? I like Winnie Potato's a lot better. So
Why is your imitation of the average YouTube user a gay picky guy?
No, it's not all the time. Sometimes it's a nerd, you know. A pig
nerd.
Pig nerd, obviously.
Because he was oinking there.
Yeah.
You know, so if this question's coming my way, I actually don't know how qualified I am to answer it, because for me, it's like I say, I don't consider myself really much of an expert. There are people on Guild Wars 2 Guru in particular, and I guess on the official forums too, but I don't look that much, who are like ridiculously meticulous and attentive to the smallest of details and wiki the craziest stuff and remember the most obscure of stuff and have really, well-defined ideas of what they think this or that should be. I think a lot of the time people can be quite toxic in the lore community because they can be really shoot enthusiasm and excitement down for new people trying to get into things because they come up with theories and then people are just like, no, this is wrong for A, B, and C. But how did I talk myself off to that? But I think for me, I don't really match any of that because I'm just a guy that played the first game. And what I know came from the first game, and if I want to clarify something or cite something and try and remember why I know something, I will go to Guild Wars 1 wiki or Guild Wars 2 wiki and search for it. I do short story videos, and if I see a character a character name, I'll search both wikis for it just to see if it's actually there in game and whether you can get more information about them.
To be honest, though, really. Who wants to read? So, Winning Potatoes is pretty much the best.
No, but you can't use this. You can't use this to plug me either because
why?
My channel,
I'm just being honest.
No, because and I can't really recommend my videos. I can recommend one series of mine. I did a series where that is undoubtedly one of the most effort I've put into any series. Where I spend months and months writing down a script, getting a good recording, and basically project manage with a bunch of artists to get a load of art in to do these really nice summary videos that I'm incredibly proud of, and I think they're the best productions I've ever done.
He's asking for a start, and that is a good start.
And I think that's the one thing I could recommend. But at the same time, I also know how it is to watch videos like that, and often it's really nice to enjoy in the moment. But for me, as a viewer, stuff like that is in one ear and out the other, and what you'd want is a comprehensive resource to look at all the story stuff, but there isn't really a great one. I think aside from those videos I was just talking about, on those wikis you can type storyline or timeline or plot or campaign, particularly on the Guild Wars 1 wiki, and read summaries of what happened in those storylines, and those are great places to go as well. The problem with videos is you can't take it at your own pace, you have to take it at the video's pace, and I think that can put a lot of people off.
Yeah, it's just like audiobooks. Sometimes you can just totally lose track, and then you have to kind of rewind it a little bit. And that's why I've always enjoyed just reading the books, because you really you're sitting there taking all your focus is on the book. With audiobooks, all your focus is halfway, on the book, halfway doing whatever you're doing on the computer. So
when you want to do something on your computer, what do you prefer to do? Read about it on do you Google it or YouTube it? Basically, is what I'm asking.
Yeah,
I always Google it. I always Google it. I've been fiddling about with Photoshop, and okay, so an example, I really want, and I couldn't figure this out, so if anyone listening to this can help out, right? Okay, I'm exporting tons of things out of Photoshop at the moment. It's really annoying to every single time have to specify I want this as a PNG rather than as a Photoshop file.
That happens with me too, and I use it all the time.
And I wanted to figure out how do I set the default save as format. That's such a basic arbitrary thing for any program to have. Photoshop is a damn advanced application. Surely it would have this basic thing, right? So I look up a guide online. I'm like, well, how do I do it? And my first thought is always I go for the written guide rather than a video, because a written guide I can just scroll down the page, scroll down, all right, I already know this. Okay, there it is, straight away. In a couple of seconds I can get to the key paragraph I want. On a video, it's like, okay, this is a 5-minute video.
And you have stuff to sit through that.
Stuff you don't need.
Of course, the reading is way better.
Well, I think it's the same if you're trying to get into lore too. I think that if you want to learn about the lore, and I recommend my series, people are like, okay, all right, I'll watch the video, and the first 5 minutes is me talking about Tyria and the continent, and people might already know that. And again, it's the same thing, they can't take it at their own pace. On the wiki, a page full of text, and they can just scroll down and be like, all right, bang, this is what I want to read about, and then they sort of take it from there. And the wiki's great too, because any little thing that you want clarification on is a link, and you can click it, and oh, look, now I've learned about this all this other stuff, and suddenly 3 hours are gone because you've spent all night reading it, the real Wikipedia.
Anyways, I'm gonna say it's good to start off of that big lore series that he did, and that will get you your foot in the door, so you can actually have some type of, I don't know, you actually know what's going on when you actually read it. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion. He says go straight to the books, but You know,
well, if you're excited already, okay, I think those videos are good for getting people excited about the story, but they're not too good for teaching the story. Like, they'll teach you the basics, but again, in a way I think that won't stick in your memory. I think if you're already excited and passionate, go straight to the wiki. If you're not sure whether it's really that good, then that series might be fun.
Next question.
Right. Next question is from, this was the one that I almost read out earlier, and then accidentally moved on. Ryan Nemmer says, why is a large part of the Guild Wars 2 population so against speed clearing compared to Guild Wars 1? Maybe it's just me, but I don't remember receiving so much hate for doing dungeons as fast as possible. Speed clearers in Guild Wars 1 were held in much higher regard. I mean, is it really our fault ArenaNet made content easy enough to do in all Berserker's gear?
It's not your fault. No, it's not your fault. It's ArenaNet's fault for all that Berserker crap. But
well, people would speed clear whether there was the DPS race culture or not.
Yeah.
It's just, it would be a more varied potentially and hopefully more engaging way of playing the game. Like, even though we don't have a holy... Yeah, well, even though we don't have the Holy Trinity, like, there is something to be said for, well, is it engaging to speed clear anyway? And I would say it absolutely is. Even though it's a DPS race in this game, when you get to proper speed clear tactics and, you know, people are placing very specific portals in very specific locations and you have to kill this boss at this certain time so that you can quickly portal through, then yeah, it's still just as engaging and as exciting and rewarding gameplay anyway, even though there is no Trinity and even though it is a DPS race. I honestly believe that, because so much of it is about moving around and proccing NPCs at the right place. Then I don't really care. I don't think that impacts the fun you can have in a speed clear. But why is a large part of the Guild Wars 2 population so against speed clearing compared to Guild Wars 1? I don't think they are. People hated speed clearers in the first game. They did not have a good reputation in the first game. By and large, here's what you got to remember, right? As Guild Wars 2 got older, more and a higher percentage of the population of that game became speed clearers. But to everyone outside that scene, they were still just as negative about it as you see in Guild Wars 2. It's just that the proportions were slightly different, because that's all people were resorted to with Guild Wars 1, because there was little else to do at that point. Like, nobody liked speed clearers in Guild Wars 1 either, like, unless you were actually into the scene for yourself. I think that's a fallacy. I think Guild Wars 2, pretty much the community has about the same attitude towards it as they did in the first game. The same discussions, oh, should you just be skipping through the content or experiencing everything ArenaNet put in? Oh, should we be doing this gimmick or this gimmick? And I think a lot of the animosity comes from when people who don't know strategies and techniques are thrust into groups where people are trying to pull them off. That's where the animosity comes in. That's where the guy that doesn't know any better gets annoyed because he's been forced to do weird stuff, and the people who do know better are annoyed because they're with a noob. That's where the problems come in. When it's just speed clearers playing with speed clearers and casual people playing with casual people, there's no problems at all. I don't speed clear myself. I did a little bit of cough running, which was immensely fun. But I do. I'm subscribed to a few people on YouTube who post videos about, you know, record times and stuff, and I think that's awesome. And I would love leaderboards and ArenaNet to encourage that kind of competition in this game, because I think that that's fascinating to see people kill Giganticus, Lupicus,
Bubicus, Cheetacus, Vampicus
in a couple of seconds. Yeah. So.
He also, when a community gets bigger, a lot larger than Guild Wars 1, you know, that type of stuff comes up more often. And you would think that, you know, it's just like more rage, but it's just like more people, and it's just more there in your face. But
you're right, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Plus 10 Charisma says, where do you think Guild Wars 2 is going with the living story? It seems like it's just some irrelevant side story that provides more lore of the world, but doesn't seem at all like it's significant. I feel as if the events are headed towards the awakening or initiation of an Elder Dragon antagonism. The game is pretty much centered around them, isn't it? I mean, the logo is a dragon. So I feel they're going to do something with the lore. It has to relate to the dragons. Right. What do you think? I don't want to ramble again on a bit. Like, I've got thoughts on it, but I don't want to. Like...
I think we've talked a little bit of this already. We always tend to answer questions right before the questions. Is the living story relevant? I think this is like stories that are, you know, that are not told by the personal story. Sometimes it kind of doesn't feel that way, but you know, like for people who want more story, there's the living story, because that will be something that affects the world that's going parallel to your personal story, you know, because you know, like it's just like your life. You know, you wake up in the morning, you get breakfast, whatever. That's your life, right? That's your story. You go to work. That's your story. But there's some other guy and some other, you know, a couple houses down who's also waking up, also eating breakfast, or have nothing to eat and has no job. You know, like that's their story. So it's good to have. It's good to have
analogies.
Wow. You know, other stories going on. So yeah, it may not. It's going to be something probably totally different. Those stories might never match up, or maybe, you know, one day Scarlet comes out and he, you know, she, even though she looks like a he, wakes up an elder dragon or something like that. Maybe sometimes that can happen. I mean, they did say, and I said that like every episode, that the living story is not different than the expansions, and they feel like they can blend those two together. So you might see it like a cross, but yeah, I think these stories are meant to have, like, you know, just like something else that's going on, you know, like, yeah, who has time in a personal story for a election to go on? Like, who has time for that type of stuff? Or, you know, people are visiting, or holidays, like, you're not going to see that, you know? So yeah.
But I think the confusion comes from here as well, and I think this comes from ArenaNet being directionless, is that they've stated the personal story will be continued, and the personal story is something separate to the living story. And it is quite apparent that all of the stuff that we see in the personal story and the main plot of Guild Wars 2 with Traherne and the Pact and the Orders and all that good stuff, because I do consider Traherne to be good stuff, that has been completely avoided for the living story. For now, I'm okay with that. For now, living story is totally an experimental thing. They don't know what they can achieve with it. I think it's fine. You know, it all feels like filler plot at the moment. And maybe it has to be. Just for now, until, you know, they really realize what they can do. And eventually maybe we'll look at getting personal story back. And that is what we'd see traditionally with an expansion. So I think I don't think the living story really will go. This idea of Tequatl getting stronger has sort of thrown a little bit of a spanner in the works there. But I wouldn't be expecting the living story to go anywhere along the lines of the personal story for a long time. And when we do get more personal story stuff, you know, fighting other elder dragons and big topics, it will be packaged as personal story rather than living story. And whether we get personal story as a living world strategy update or as an expansion or something is totally up in the works. But this is why it's confusing. I think it's just as confusing to them as it is the player base right now, honestly. But who are we to say?
And I think I'm pretty sure the writers would be like kind of working on the personal story and how they're gonna do this, because, you know, like, personal story like was all right, and it's a big job to because there's so many lines of personal story. Are they gonna bring back old characters that were in your beginning 30 levels? Are they gonna do this? And it has to be for every individual. Yeah, it has to be in every individual race. So, you know, like for the charge, you might see, you know,
one of your warband members.
Yeah,
but again, this is the problem they made with the personal story, and one of the reasons I still contend that it was terrible was there were way too many decisions made, way too many, and there's no way they could have honoured all of them. So I don't know. I mean, I guess they're going to try eventually at some point, but when they do that is up in the arms. I was going to say something else as well, but I've forgotten it now. So, I was going to say, here's an interesting idea. A lot of people didn't like the personal story of Guild Wars 2, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't like the living story that they're now doing because they claim it feels like a filler arc. If you had to choose, though, like if Guild Wars 2 released with a campaign that's like the living story, or what we got for the personal story, which would you pick?
This would be like done with the knowledge they know now, right? What people like and what people dislike, right?
No, let's just say it's Guild Wars 2's launch, and they've got a story, right? And you have to pick.
That totally changes it.
It's all the stuff that they release for Living Story, and let's say like over the next year, right? So it's stuff like the Queen Jubilee. It's cutscenes done in that style. It's quests done in that style.
You're talking about content, or are you talking about story?
I'm talking about the content, the story that you would play through Guild Wars 2.
Right.
Okay.
Will it come with the content though?
Yes, and the content with it. Yes.
Then I would definitely choose a living story, because the personal story was nothing. I mean, it was personal story was mostly story, right? And then had these missions, which I pretty much didn't like. I didn't hate all of them. I just disliked. It wasn't good. So I would rather take the living story because of the content, not necessarily because of the story, but because of the content. Because really, there isn't really a story that's just like, oh my gosh, this is the most awesome piece of story I've ever listened to. I don't have that in Guild Wars 2 yet, so if I would have to choose based on content, I enjoyed the living story better than the content in personal story. Definitely.
That's an interesting perspective as well then, if you consider how excited we are about the living story updates and this idea that maybe they've come a long way or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of a weird one. I wonder what other people would answer to that. Psychatic64 says, I think you guys are giving them too hard of a time with rewards. It's hard to fine-tune this stuff. Either it's too hard or too easy, too grindable or too restricted, too accessible or too exclusive. If you can trade it on the trading post, then there's no reason to run the content. If you can only get it there, then people will complain that there should be other ways to get it. Your ideas are just the opposite of what currently is, but when they've done those, they get flack for doing just the opposite. I completely agree.
You can't satisfy everyone, but just to go into the trading post thing, if you add that you can buy it from the trading post, people would run it because they can get money from it.
It sort of self-balances itself.
Yes, it does, because for the people who are not going to run it anyway, they're not going to run it anyway. Okay?
And the price inflates.
Yeah, if the price gets bigger, like what if the Halloween skins, right? You can get it from a dungeon, right? That was worth how much? Like 1,000 gold right now? You would go run that dungeon, wouldn't you? You would run it till you die, right? And when you get it, or if you never get it, when you get it, you'll sell it and you'll be satisfied because you sold it on a trading post and you got money for it. You got a huge reward. So yes, it will balance itself out. If they have it on a trading post and it's worth something, now if it's worth 1 gold, then no one's gonna run it because there's no reward for it. It's all about the rewards. I'm telling you, man. Not all about it, but it's also about mechanics and how fun it is and stuff like that. Really, when you're running things with friends, anything is pretty much fun, especially when it's organized and you're kind of coordinating properly. It makes dungeons a totally different experience than using the looking for group tool. But I really do think that, the rewards, they're just not good enough. Yes, of course it's hard. I said that last week that it's hard to balance this stuff, and me just complaining about it is, it's whatever. But of course, we got to be constructive in some way. If you don't like something, if I don't like something, I'm going to say it. That I don't like this. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Guild Wars 2 is awesome. You know what I'm saying? There's always something I dislike. And for me,
the gay
there's
voice
rewards.
again. And this time you were gobbling on something.
I mean, no, it wasn't the gay voice.
Okay.
And by the way, I love you all. All the homos.
For the I completely agree with the general sentiment of this comment, which is that the community and I, as a part of the community, are impossible to please because we want one thing, and even individuals themselves say they want one thing and then complain when they get it, and there is a lot of cognitive dissonance, and ArenaNet will be faulted no matter which way they turn. And I guess the goal there for them is to try and please the majority rather than the minority. And that's as best as they can do. And I completely agree. It's a horrible situation. It's a horrible culture to be a part of. And I think I try not to, but I probably, propagate, is that the word, in some way too for my
you just mentioned that the rewards for the Halloween is just, who cares, right? Exactly. So it's the rewards that get you to play the content as well.
Yeah, but it's beyond the rewards as well.
It's only a part of the reason. It's not all about the rewards, like I keep saying. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Next question. But I completely agree with what this person's saying. It's difficult. Next question is from Malik, who says, if you could add a weapon to each profession, which weapons would you add? This had a lot of thumbs, and I think we've answered this on a previous one.
We might have answered like
because I think I said a melee weapon for an
type of
engineer.
this. Yeah, some type of type. Maybe we probably have. Well, anyways, we're gonna answer it again. We'll just keep it short. For me, I would like to have a ranged weapon that is not as stupid as a scepter and a staff. Even though those are great weapons, but not for range. I would like to have range on a guardian. Yeah. I would like a longbow, but the longbow skins suck. I want a short bow. Short bow would be better for Guardian because Guardian shouldn't have very long range because that would be probably overpowered a little bit because a tanky Ranger that's pretty OP. So yeah, I would like a longbow to have some type of range and be a little bit of DPS in it. But it's all about balancing. But what do you think?
For me, you can go off with crazy stuff. I think quite a piecemeal thing. That I would like to see, that I don't think is too crazy to ask. I would like to see not a new weapon necessarily, but the option to, I'm sure I've said this before, but the option to have Scepter in the offhand for Elementalist and perhaps other Scepter wielding classes, or maybe even classes that don't get to wield it at all. I'd love to be able to go Scepter on a class or something like that. For Elementalist, I think that would be a cool idea. And, in terms of implementation, we're talking about 2 skills, wait, how many is that? Or 8 skills, as the Elementalist would be for its different achievements. But I think that would be cool. I think that would be quite an exciting prospect to add at some point. Yeah. Scepter offhand, that would be fun. All right, last question. Ring the bell. Ring the last question bell. Thank you. Gosh. That was brilliant. Yeah. That was beautiful. I was going to suggest you do something in post, but we'll just do that from now on. We're going to have a last question bell, okay? Remember that noise you made? Make it again. There we go. This is going to be good. All right, the last question is from DJ Sword Games, who said, how did you two goofballs end up partnering up to create these awesome videos on your channels? I'm loving it. Love hearts, smiley face.
Like McDonald's, he's loving it.
I'm loving it. How did we start doing this?
I contacted you first a long time ago before we got together, and
yeah, it was this whole like a couple. That was like very well done.
Yeah. I will contact you first. I holler at you first. All right. And you were a whole like you kind of like to be by yourself and type of you were explaining this before. If you want to explain that, the whole collab things like, oh, let's collab, but we didn't really know what to collab about. Like you got that a lot with a lot of people who wanted to collab with you.
Yeah. Well, over time I've had messages for sure. I'm just reading our very first conversation on Skype right now.
Oh, really? You went back that far? Holy crap, is that easy? All right, I should probably do that myself.
Your wife had the blender on.
While you read that, I will say, so after that, we didn't really talk much. I sent a few messages, but he never answered back.
I'll explain.
I think now that I've lost weight, he has more interest in me. And that's how we got together. That's how we got together.
Yeah.
But what really happened is I had him on Skype for a bit, right, after that first talk, and we didn't really talk very much, and he was usually busy. This is the time when you had a job, right? You had a job, so you were like proper busy.
Yeah.
And doing the daily videos as well. I can't imagine. So then I started talking to him again on Skype, and he was like, oh man, we haven't talked in a while, whatever. We got to talking, and he wanted to do this thing called the Daily Deal. So
well, that wasn't really where it started.
Yeah, kind of where it started. You wanted, we started talking a little bit, but then you mentioned that you want to do something with the Daily Deal, because that's kind of how it started.
Can I say my version then?
Yeah.
And then we'll combine?
Yeah, to make Captain Planet, yes.
Yeah, okay, listen, right, so we first spoke on Friday, October 7th, 2011. It was a rainy day, and the sun was setting beyond the hills outside my window. I had a message from Matt on Skype. No, okay, listen, right, so Matt wanted to, collab a long time ago. This was before launch, as I say, this was 2011. October, this was, months and months and months before.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I had this group, Kai Dream, Philetic, Tube Elephant, Kabubi, Zoe Fury. We had this like little clique going on, and we also used to talk to each other and collab with each other. And I was trying to talk to you about that as well. Alex
And
Ridiculous.
I was scared of the click,
but
and I
Alex
wanted to
Ridiculous
avoid
was
it
too
at
good
all
for
costs.
us. Yeah.
What was that? Say that again.
Alex Ridiculous.
Was he in the click? Really?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. We tried to talk to him, but he was, he was the biggest YouTuber at the time. And
But he'd only done like one video. That was the thing with him. Like he did. Oh, okay. He did
let's not bash anybody.
I wasn't
Ridiculous.
meaning
You
to
were
bash.
cool. You were cool because you were ridiculous. Anyways, go ahead.
Ridiculous. Yeah, no, so basically Matt contacted me ages ago. Last year was like super crazy busy for me because I was like trying to get a career in anything, which ended up being IT, which I ended up hating, but I was on like an apprenticeship for a long period of time, and then I was working at like a place in another city that was just horrible, really long commutes. I was producing daily videos, even like this was while I was doing my BioShock LP, I think. I was doing like a Guild Wars video and a side LP every single day, and it was like in a lot of ways, working full-time was actually really nice for getting me into a schedule and helping with that. But I had no time for anything. And like Matt was like contacting me, hey, do you want to do a collab? Do you want to do a collab? But never really having any ideas. The only collabs I ever did were...
Not like that. I didn't ask you like every 2 seconds. I asked you once.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, just...
I asked you once. And then...
There was a couple of times. Like, there were a few times over the months.
I wanted to play game. I like to get to know someone before I get in bed with them.
Wow,
go
we
out
are
with a
very
dinner
different people.
and stuff like that. We
I
didn't
would've
even we didn't even go on a dinner. We need to play games and stuff first. That's what I was contacting you about. But go ahead.
All right, so he's asking me for dinner and stuff, and I'm just not interested. I'm giving him the cold shoulder. And I don't know, like, how many months ago now? It was ages ago, wasn't it?
No. It was this year. I don't know, beginning of the year-ish, a couple months into the year.
Yeah, that's crazy to me that it's actually been that long. But Matt contacted me again with an idea for a collab. I wasn't working at this point, and he had a solid idea. He was doing a video on consumables in Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
And I did like a little sound bite, and I recorded like loads of different versions of it. And just sent them all to you, if you remember.
Yeah.
Man, that video was so long ago, but it feels like it wasn't that long at all. And really, that was when we first started speaking. I had also been looking for like a co-commentate person to do the Daily Deal series, which was like my idea for videos outside of Guild Wars 2 stuff that I thought was this perfect, flawless idea. Got Matt on board with it, and we just started producing that stuff, right? But we spent like quite a few months in between just like playing games. Like we played Trine, we played Torchlight, and there was something else as well that we played.
Right.
And then
we actually beat Trine. We didn't beat Torchlight though.
Yeah, because Torchlight was like huge, and then like I went MIA for ages basically, and then we just weren't bothered with it anymore. And then VisualWood was your idea quite recently, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, and it turned out pretty good. Actually, probably the most successful out of the series.
This is like a conversation we'd have if we were like 20, 30 episodes down the line, and it's like this been really long-term thing. But what is this, like episode 6?
Well, yeah, I mean, successful in a way that, we have an audience for it. People, they like listening to us talk about Guild Wars 2 and some other stuff as well. I think for a small channel like how we are, I think this is successful.
All right, sure, yeah.
For a small channel, if we get bigger and, this stays at the same amount of views, then we know it's not successful.
Oh, this is good. This is how you plug the end, because now you're like, and guys, you can help that out by sharing the video. And
Right.
See?
For people who made it this far,
Wait, that's how they let you know that they made it to the end, by getting them to do all your dirty work and share it around.
Dirty work? It's not
This
dirty
is great.
work.
This is like a way of like commissioning labor from your most dedicated of listeners. It's wonderful. That's exactly what you should do.
Promote like shameless, like every time at the end of Jesse Cox videos. It's like that's what he says. He's like, "Oh, you want to become a big YouTuber? Share, and promote like shameless whores."
I was watching one of his videos where he was, where it was one of the ones where he got like paid to do an iOS game or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I find that whole sort of culture really interesting. I was reading a lot of the comments and people being like, "Oh, what is a sellout?" Blah blah blah. It's really quite interesting to me, like, because we like exist so far out of all of all of that nonsense, but it's really, really weird to see how communities and people respond to that kind of thing, and this idea that YouTubers just end up people like basically just advertising games. Like, you're watching YouTube videos from a guy that is basically just advertising stuff. That is really interesting. Like, I got so wrapped up in reading a lot of those comments.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things, but I mean, really, at its core is that you're subscribed to a person, they're going to deliver content. Now, I think the definition of a sellout is changing your views, right, for money. Right? You don't like this game or you don't like this movie, and because they pay you a lot of money, you're going to say this game and this movie is the best thing out there. I think that's a sellout. Putting something that you got paid for to put on your channel and giving your honest opinion about something is not a sellout. I mean, you got to understand, we don't get, for people who is trying to make this into a thing where they actually get paid for it and decently and actually pay their bills, we don't get paid that much at all. As far as we know, we might as well just call this a hobby in trying to turn this into a job. Really. Yeah. We don't
Except
get
when you
paid
call it a
that
hobby
much.
And then people are like, oh, so you're at home all day to do a hobby. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, I'm at home
a career
for a different reason. But yeah, like it's I don't know. That's just my opinion on sellout. Like, I really don't think if this will help them. So many people have stopped YouTube, and probably some of your favorite YouTubers have stopped YouTube over like 100,000 subs just because they're not making enough money, and they just go and they pursue other things because guess what? You know how so many people just leave YouTube to do jobs, real jobs, because in the industry maybe even because they don't have enough money, and that money will stable money. It fluctuates in the money that you get from YouTube. Like, one day, like, you'll get a really crappy check. I'm pretty sure if you've heard this before from Total Biscuit, from all those guys,
Yeah, they talk about how unstable it is, and you get copyright strikes and stuff, and it can just be thrown off. I think money just makes things very weird. People's opinions on why someone should be doing something just drastically change as soon as they're getting money for it. Money just changes things in such an arbitrary way that I feel like it shouldn't. Like, but it really does complicate stuff. So
the thing that people have to understand is money makes the world go around, and money's not everything, no, but money really helps you to make videos better. It helps you to like you guys, perfect example. Guys, you guys seen my Canon T3i, right? That camera I started using last year and pretty much grew my channel to where it is right now just because of the camera work I've been doing. That costs money. And I paid that like straight up, like saving for months, paying for trying to save up to get that. Like, that was how my channel grew. I owe it up to all that saving up to get that camera, the green screen, and all that. You guys like that content. That's where I got most of my views on, So, yeah, like, you guys want quality, but really, you got the money, and you guys are getting it for free.
I don't think anyone's attacking us right now, being like, "How dare you justify why you're spending all this
people
money?"
who listen this long, really, I'm pretty sure, are the people who actually understand this type of stuff, I think, at least.
No, they're the angry people frothing at the mouths waiting to strike.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, all right. Anyways, enough
so
of
many gobbling noises. This is the gobbling episode where Matt makes various noises of him eating things.
Anything else?
No, I'm good. I got a bit of a headache, actually. I'm going to go get some water. And actually, I'm going out for a meal as well, so it was a pretty good time to end it.
Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a like, share with your friends, leave a comment, say what's up. Share,
in
guys.
the comment.
Share.
Wow.
Share.
Anyway, guys. Share.
And stay visual.
Sharing.
And Ritlock has no pants.
You can't just like force it in at the end there. It makes no sense.